Hello and welcome to the Rise Above the Grind podcast. I am your hostess, the Consultress, Alyssa Bakar, here bringing you interesting conversations with amazing people. Today I have Bryan Daly. He's a financial advisor who helps people to more intentionally save and invest their money. But the world of finance, as we know it, is not the same today as it was even 5 years ago or 5 decades ago when people were taught how to market and how to message. And so it is my pleasure and privilege to bring you, Bryan Daly, here to the conversation. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So, I met you in a room that you host, and a few of our VIP panelist members have already met you in those spaces. But here today, we're going to have this kind of philosophical dialogue around the word grind in our culture today and how people go about doing business. Grind shows up for different people in different ways. So, how do you define that term? How do you define the term grind?
I kind of look at it as choose hard things, um, to grow, to improve, to really get a sense of accomplishment. Doing easy things is not a grind. And embracing, one of the Navy SEALs wrote a book, embracing the suck. Um, and the idea was, I'd like to take all sorts of credit for it myself, but it's because I have a lovely wife who kind of encourages me in a very loving way to do things, um, to embrace that grind. And what happens is when you've anything you start that maybe is difficult or new or whatever in the beginning, the hardest part is getting started. And then after you've been doing it for a little while, you kind of get better and better at it and you start to embrace it more. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, well, listen, what I heard from what you've said is that choosing hard things is an act of devotion. You know, like in making a choice to do something that isn't already working, already systematized, already, kind of clicking along, it's choosing your next place of growth. It's choosing your next layer of commitment. And so, what I love about how you frame that is that it seems like when you choose something new or you start something where you don't already have unconscious competence, it does feel like a grind at first. That establishment first push up the hill, you have to overcome so much inertia. You have to overcome the fact that you had never done it before, so you don't maybe know what you're doing, so it's going to feel a little messy. You haven't repeated it enough times to have yourself feel confident and comfortable. It's like the first day you go to the gym, you feel like a weakling. And so, like, embrace the suck. Like, I think that, like, kind of captures your definition of grind in a way that's more, don't be afraid of that next level of growth. Would you say that's accurate?
Absolutely. And it's still, we do a cold plunge at the gym and the water temperature is 55 degrees. And every time you get in it, it's cold, cold, cold.
Yeah.
But it's only really cold for about the first minute. And the afterwards, the for the rest of the morning, I feel, like I don't like I'm taking drugs. It's a really amazing feeling. But I tell you, every time I have to walk down those stairs, just before I get in, I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And then of course you just do it. And after a while, you just realize that you do it. And I don't want to say it gets easier, but it kind of gets easier.
Well, I mean, and so what I think is fascinating is it's results-based ambition. You see something, some goal, some result worth having, and you're willing to overcome that initial awkward or that trepidation. My husband says the same thing about the gym. But so how has this shown up for you in your work life, trying new things, or maybe it's been developing new marketplaces or trying on a new way of going about business development? Share with me some of those new growth edge choices that have kind of defined you in your career journey.
Well, I sort of pride myself on being a little bit of a nerd. I don't play golf. I don't have a lot of different hobbies. So I do a lot of reading and a lot of studying on things in the financial world and the financial business. And I intentionally choose to take on hard stuff. Um, if that makes sense. You know, that in other words, if it's not a challenge, I don't know why I want to bother doing it. So, which is not always the way I've been. But what I find is that I emerge on the other side. The whole thing about it really is to better serve my clients and to become a better professional in every way that I can. And my
Mm,
knowledge and so on really helps me to do that. So I'm always, continuous, what was it? Tony Robbins said, can I continuous and never ending learning, um,
yeah.
and more niche learning in the financial world.
Yeah. So is it bring me in a little bit, these new growth edge opportunities that you emerge on the other side better to serve your clients. Are these give us some more color, some more detail. Like, is this like a new platform you need to learn or a new product that has come out that you have to get your arms around? Like tell us a story where this growth edge was present for you and you saw, the service to the client on the other side.
Well, that happens almost on a regular weekly, monthly basis now, with new tools, new products, new programs, new ways to do things in the financial world that, as you said at the beginning, weren't even available, just a few years ago.
Mm,
And sometimes it's tools, software, relearning systems and programs and better ways to do things. And sometimes it's a deeper dive on existing things, like in the estate planning world, in the world of taxes. There's always changes happening in the world of taxes. And of course, that's a great deliverable, because now we can show a direct benefit of, hey, if you didn't have to pay Uncle Sam legally this money and put it in your pocket, that would be a great benefit. And
right. So
reading the tax code is not the most fun and exciting. That could be considered a grinder, right?
I mean, I would. I was in financial services for a bit there, and I want to leave it up to the people who love it. Because honestly, it isn't for everyone. But so I'm hearing that you're developing mastery in a place where most people either don't have competency or really don't want to develop it, and that you're staying on top of the changes such as estate planning, tax law, things like that, so that you can help people prepare. So um I think the thing for most people when they think about planning and finances is to me it feels very emotional. Like it's one of the most intimate conversations you can have with someone is about, their money and how it's going to work for them or how it's not working for them right now. What are some of those benefits that people get when they come through your process and your system of how you've, stayed on that growth edge so that you could serve them well? What are some of the benefits your clients are seeing today?
Well, I totally agree that many people would rather talk about their sex life than about their finances.
Yeah.
And and I find that many people they don't necessarily need more money. What they need is a better plan. Many people already have what they need in order to create financial independence. They just need a better method about doing it. Um, and it doesn't matter how much money someone has, a million, 3 million, 10 million, whatever dollars. Um, it's interesting because they always feel like they fall short. When they compare themselves to their peers and so on, I could have done better. I should have done better. Again, it doesn't matter how much they have. Many cases, I have yet to find anyone who's turned around and said, "Yep, it's way more than I ever expected," and that kind of thing.
So to me, I'm feeling like another additional definition here to grind is never feeling like you have enough. And so what I'm hearing is you helping people kind of transition from that never enough mindset to looking at the truth, looking at what is current and helping them see the vision, but also see how things are possible. And so I'm hearing you help other people transcend that grind of like, I'm never catching up on my bills. I'm always falling short. Even if I have $1 billion, like my operational expenses are now exceeding that, and now I have to go build more. Like this is a problem I feel like at every level for folks. So if people want to reach out to you and connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, my website, newlifefinancialplanning.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Bryan Daly.
Bryan with a Y and Daly
Bryan
with
with a
a Y.
Y and Daly with no I, right there.
I love it. Yeah, well, thanks a million for sharing some of your philosophical and very implementable awarenesses
Yeah,
around choosing what's hard and that it's not always going to be that way. Grinding's not a permanent state. It's just what you need to do in order to get functional mastery and to continue towards goals and results that are really worth it. And also that people can come to you if they're having um, anxiety or trouble around seeing that money is never enough type of problem to say, no, you know what? If we put them in the right places and we look at all the current state of affairs, this is how we can help you to move forward. And that's not the thing that's out there right now. Money's always this got to get more 10x thing, but you've brought it home here today to allow people to understand that it is wherever you are is perfect and understanding what's available and what plans from someone who knows, someone who stays current is worth its weight in gold. So, Bryan, thank you so much for being here as a guest expert here on Rise Above the Grind.
thank you very much. Just one last thing I'd like to add, if I could,
Yeah.
and that is, I think one of the biggest challenges, people procrastinate and don't take out because they've overwhelmed or embarrassed, whatever. And it's
Yes.
sort of like, a gym problem. I don't go to the gym because I'm out of shape. Well, it's that's kind of, you kind of got it backwards. The reason you go to the gym is because you want to get into shape. You know,
Yes.
my finances are terrible, therefore I ignore them. Well, it doesn't make any sense, but I hope
Yeah.
that's helpful. And
It,
anyone can get started. Get started small, get started simple, but get started right away.
yeah. And do the thing because you have to choose it, even if it's hard. I love that. Thank you for being an awesome guest here with us today. So, for those of you listening on the broadcast, stay tuned. There's another amazing guest lined up right after this.